Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to Drink the Video Games. I am Brian, and I've got top up on my coffee here, and I am ready to get back to figuring out this mystery with Hannah and Eve and the murder of Simon. So, in the last episode, we made quite a bit of headway. Let me pull up my database checker here, and you can see we filled in a lot of those gaps over the last episode there. Having these kind of written down has helped quite a bit. So I'm going to kind of carry on with that. In this last one, we got tipped off there about her birthday party. So I think that's where I want to start this episode for today. And we'll see. I feel like we're doing pretty good. We'll have to see how much longer this kind of takes for me to fill out the database checker and see what happens. So yeah, checking out birthday here. Got a couple of new ones. See, we got the couple of old ones there, which I didn't put any there, and this was the one that kind of prompted this line of questioning. So hopefully you're all doing really well out there today. Hopefully you're enjoying the playthrough, but let's check it out.
That's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that.
Okay.
It was my birthday, like you said. We were going to have a meal at home. We had our meal. He gave me his present. I guess I didn't like the present.
Didn't like the present. So you murdered him. No, I don't know that yet. We'll find that out, I guess.
Well, a week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Okay. Day after your birthday. Okay. And I think she mentioned they both had left after the birthday, and they had their fight, and they both kind of took off and left. Okay, so nothing there in terms of the birthday gift. Let's take... Takeaway, no. I don't think food... Oh, food, we got some things here. Let's check that out.
Not drugs. I mean, he drinks, but never very much. He goes to the pub and has one or two. Sometimes we go together.
Goes to the pub.
He drinks wine with food, but no, he doesn't have any kind of drinking problem.
Wine, okay. Pub and wine.
At the time they said it was poison.
Oh.
Food poisoning.
Dang.
I mean, I felt so guilty. If I'd still been at home, maybe I could have done something. I don't know.
Food poisoning. Or just regular poisoning. I don't know.
They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms.
Okay.
It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that.
Death caps.
But the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone, and no one had any reason to hurt them.
Interesting. We're definitely going to look at that. Death cap mushrooms. Let's see. So let's start with poison. Oop. Okay, nothing there. Oh, we got one new one here. Mushroom. And this one's from the last interview.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed, was still pretty sick of the STD. When I came down one morning,
Okay.
they were dead. They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot. And I'd slept through it. The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. I mean, he used to take us picking with him, and he taught us how to recognise them. And there's no way he would have picked death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
Okay. So Dad is dead. Didn't even look in the attic, because that's where you were, Eve, allegedly. Okay, let's take a look at Death Cap, because that's come up a couple of times here in regards to the mushrooms. Okay, nothing there. What about Dad? A couple of things here.
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
Okay. Worked at a shop. And she mentioned that she was shy there. We have no tattoo. And we have Eve, I guess, with the tattoo, who's talking about how Hannah was shy. So that tracks, I guess.
No, they were shut. Most of the windows were really hard to open anyway. They're stifling in summer. They were painted over by my dad. Could have left a door open accidentally. Or there's a cat flap in the back door.
It's a cat flap. Oh, is that how someone could have gotten in? Take a look at that. Oh, cat. Before we do that, what about specifically a cat flap? Okay, still just that one. Okay. Take a look and see about this cat.
No, no cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino. It was this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it.
Domino. Cat flap. Oh, here's one from 1140. This is early on.
When we weren't together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out a code that we'd learned from a book, the knock code. Something prisoners of war would use.
Oh, knock code.
We'd tap them out on radiator pipes or the attic floor.
Okay, that's interesting because we had the video earlier on when she was like laying with her head down on the table and she was knocking. Okay, so knock code. Let's check that out too. You got one more here.
We loved our cat, Domino.
Domino the cat.
He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other. Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
Okay. I'm passing notes with the cat. As you do. Alright. So I want to take a look at that knock code thing she just mentioned. That's the only one that mentions it. Okay. Yeah, 'cause she doesn't say anything in the other one. I probably didn't tag it. Is not code. Okay. Alright, so let's see. So we did Dad. Let's take a look at Mum. Nothing? Nothing? Oh, okay. Well, that gets us some things here. Take a look.
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out.
Interesting. What is that a picture of?
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
Okay. Interesting. Baby name?
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright, so I want to get back to something we talked about in the last episode. And she mentioned that Hannah was a better driver than her. So let's take a look at some keywords around that. Drive, okay.
I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's...
Okay. Now that he's dead. Alright. Talks about Glasgow there again.
It's like I told you before. I drove. I took the car and drove. I don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think, put some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
Okay. I'll put alibi in there as well.
Let me see.
Oh.
Yes. I drove in here because I remember, well, I went over the river. And then there was a church there. Yeah. And I probably parked. Well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. There it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one.
Princess Street sounds like a strange name for a street in Glasgow, to be honest. Alright, so Princess was something that I'd wanted to look at from the last episode, so I might take a look at that as well. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start there, I guess. 7 entries.
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them.
Parents.
It was what they called a shotgun wedding. And if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Okay, so that she's talking about the wedding. And she mentioned a bridesmaid and the car. Let's start there. Let's see, nothing there. What about car? Anything new on the car? Wow, a lot. 12 entries. Okay. It's a lot.
I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car.
As you do. I'm also going to put argument in there. Seems like they had a lot of arguments, which I guess is fair.
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And Excuse me. Is there a bin?
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah. I pulled over and slept in the car.
It's not great.
This was just by the side of the road. I was exhausted.
Okay. She keeps saying that she slept in the car. There. Let's take a look. Take a look at sleep and sleeping. See if anything else comes up.
I sleep on the right side of the bed as you come in from the door. You can tell because I have 2 pillows and he just has 1.
2 pillows, okay. Okay, so we did that. I want to take a look at, taking a step back there. She was talking about the wedding and when they got married, and she said 17, and she'd said before that that other guy was 17, and then apparently her and Simon got married at 17.
I did. Well, we met when we were 17, both working at the Glaziers.
And take a look at Glaziers, okay. And take a look at that. But before I do that, I want to take a look at, start with parents. Nope. Parent. Nope. Okay. What about wedding? Anything there? Nope. Okay. We're good there. Okay, and she drove and, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Let's take a look at crash, because she said that she'd crashed the car. There's something new. 11:43. Okay, so that's kind of in the middle of this here.
Beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to
there's
find
Ouija
him.
again.
That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Okay. Dream. Okay. So I think that kind of exhausts that bit of that there. She mentioned she went to Glasgow and stayed in her car. And she mentioned that Simon went to Oxford for some sort of conference. So.
And the hotel said he was there?
Okay, so apparently he was there. Okay, so I had a lot to talk about princesses. Let's see, what else do we got there? Oh, Glazier. She said that they worked there, or they met there.
A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the Glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't
618, that's an early one.
It's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
Okay. Cell phone.
No. Everyone loved Simon. He's a glazier who doesn't have much money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Nothing different there. Take a look at glass. Oh.
Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it. By hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. That's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror. And he gave it to me.
Okay. I feel like I've looked up mirror before. Yep. Okay. Alright, so we're doing pretty good there. She was talking there in that last kind of clip about how they would have their dreams and write them down. They would be the same, and it was kind of magical. So let's take a look at magic. Oh, nothing there. Anything else there? Nope. Okay. We talked about princesses. What about prince? One there.
I don't know if anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Okay. Simon was your prince. Is that true? Okay. So we looked up that Simon was your prince. Oops. Simon Prince. Ah.
I haven't been into work. I guess I've just been waiting to hear from you, hear from my husband.
Okay. Waiting.
When you suspect someone of murdering their husband.
Yeah. What we got there?
She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman. But it's okay, because she finds out it wasn't her husband, it was his brother. And so it's fine.
It's very interesting. Okay, let's take a look, see what we've already been through that. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in guilty, and then I'll do innocent, and see if that drudges anything up here for us.
Okay, she's being chased. They're trying to catch her because she did something bad. I guess she broke the rules. Or maybe they think she did something bad. Maybe it wasn't her fault. She looks scared, not guilty. Maybe it was mistaken identity. Did they catch her there? I don't know.
Mistaken identity. Innocent. Okay, interesting. And we got one more here.
Yes. I thought about telling Hannah. I felt guilty after the kiss. But then it began to feel like this was the way it should be. Sharing. Like we had before. He never mentioned her to me. There was the Simon with me and the Simon with her. It was almost like it was a different Simon. But
Okay. share just like you did before. Let's take a look at that. Oh, got one more.
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but everything was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird, in a way it hadn't been before.
What'd she say there?
It lasted.
The rules had changed and become weird. Okay. Let's take a look at both of those rules. Oh. Weird. Oh, there's one. Okay.
Okay. Sounds weird. I'm not great at making up stories.
Yeah, right. Up stories. I feel like I've looked for stories before. It's not spelled like that. Like that. Yep. Nothing there. Oh, stories got a couple things.
Yes. Like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay, yep. That's how stories go. I don't know what this end is, but we got something.
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking.
Knife, okay.
I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad.
Okay.
He's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends.
Okay. A couple things in there. She's talking about, see, she said that she had a knife and that she was cooking for him. That he was ill. And that he was about to die. Or dead. Oh. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look at this one here.
That's all that matters, really. The baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby.
Okay. That's how Simon will live on, I guess. That's true.
Rehearsed. You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I thought about. My husband is dead.
Okay, let's take a look at that actually. First, oh, nothing there. Okay, dead, let's see. So we've got, most of the way, I mean, let's see. No, here, which one? Okay. Alright, so we kind of went through that whole story there, that she mentioned. Knife, cooking, killed, dead. Let's take a look at, wife here. Nothing there. And I think we did exhaust that as well. Okay, great. Okay, so we've talked about that. We've brought up guilty. What about innocent? Oh, more on the lie detector test here.
I can take this stuff off now. Did I prove I'm innocent?
75%. Nice. Did I prove I'm innocent? Likely. Let's not do that. Let's do evidence. We already looked at that, apparently. Okay. Suspect? Oh, there we go.
Okay. So you want to eliminate me as a suspect?
Yeah, that would be ideal.
That should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
Mm-hmm. How convenient.
This is the third day running you've called me in. I speak to Doug and Eleanor every day. They say you've been asking a lot of questions. About me. Should I be worried? Am I a suspect?
Yeah. Doug and Eleanor. We've already looked up both of them, but they're the parents. And nothing more from that. Let's see, and I said suspect. What about suspicious? Nope, nothing else there. Okay, let's see. One of the evidence pieces that they had was the mirror, the broken mirror. So let's take a look at that. Nothing there. Oh, okay. There we go. Got another one for reflection.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
Okay, interesting. The witch was dead. Who's the witch? Is one of you the witch? Nothing there. Wife and... Okay.
No, Simon wasn't seeing another woman.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. I'm going to take a look at one more thing here before we wrap up for the day, so I can go grab some more coffee and have a ponder about what we've learned today. But she mentioned in one of the videos that we just watched here in this session that they kind of had these this book where they wrote all this stuff down and had a bunch of rules. So let's take a look at kind of book and diary. Oops. Rules. Okay, nothing there. Okay, and nothing there either. Let's see. Quick look. Anything else that I wanted to check out here? The only other thing. Broken was the mirror. Okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee. I'm gonna keep this session going because I'm feeling like we're getting close to the end here. Let's take a look at the database checker. Yeah, we are making some pretty good strides here. So I'm gonna pause this, go grab a coffee, and then we're just gonna keep going on this one. So hold tight, and I'll be right back.